Now, here's the University Club of Chicago, and I don't know how many other cities around the world they have university clubs, but you had to graduate from college to be a member, but you need 2 referrals from current members. Yes, I was going to get mine from Greg Jones and Adam Johnson, and Rob Betts would have been the 3rd. But I don't know where Greg Jones is anymore, but he's a venture capitalist. He runs a fund, anyways, an investment fund. Mezzanine, I think he does mezzanine financing. And there goes Cisco, which is a food service company. But they have a great dining room that's all the way upstairs. But they look at how dirty the face of the club is. I mean, this really needs to be cleaned and enhanced. It looks incredibly dingy. And also, Pete Carroll is a member here, and he writes the Chicago Magazine for the Chicago Tribune. And I met many other members. I used to hang here with Adam Johnson all the time, God rest his soul, and he ended up committing suicide. But I was around him for a while, for several years, so I don't know what happened. But again, and he did it in the hotel room. Now, my other friend Rob Betts, I used to play squash here, but he would destroy me, and I never played squash before. It would have been nice if we came up and did things to practice it, and he showed me how to play more and get familiar with the game. But since I knew the basic rules in that, he would play and he would crush me. So it wasn't good for me getting in the squash. Squash, you play on a racquetball court basically as well. Racquetball courts can be used for indoor volleyball. Oh yeah, racquetball courts, indoor volleyball, racquetball, squash, and handball. 4 things on a racquetball court. You can play squash on a racquetball court, you can play handball on a racquetball court, and you can play indoor volleyball on a racquetball court. And with indoor volleyball, what makes it unique, you can hit it off the sidewalls. Not the back wall, but you can hit it off the sidewalls. So when you hit the ball, you can hit the ball hard against the sidewall and it bounces out like a V. You can use the sidewalls. You can't use the back walls unless you're returning it. So if you go for a ball and it hits deep on the racquetball court, you can hit it off the back wall to return it to the other side. So on returns, you can use the back wall. Truly. So again, it's a unique game, indoor volleyball on racquetball courts. But again, racquetball courts are multi-sport courts. And so you can have a racquetball league, a squash league, a handball league, and an indoor volleyball league on the racquetball courts. So you can keep them busy all year round. So anyways, it's just like pickleball on the tennis courts. So you can play tennis or you can play pickleball. It keeps the courts filled. So we're down here and they're having Gold Coast Art Fair. Okay. So there's a big Gold Coast Art Fair going on. So anyways, we're at Buckingham Fountain in Chicago, and I guess this video, I'm going to stop the video and then post information for the University Club. And remember, they can expand all over the world as the college network grows, university clubs. And I said I had an amazing time in the dining room at the University Club. And here's the Chicago Yacht Club. And they can do an affiliation with the University Club and the Chicago Yacht Club. So right back here is the Chicago Yacht Club. So let's go up this way. It says Lakefront Trail, but right back here is the Yacht Club. So as you can see here, and let me put on the flashers and walk out, but this is the Chicago Yacht Club. So the University Club could affiliate itself with the Chicago Yacht Club. Truly, you can have dual memberships, where if you're a member of one, you can be a member of another. My friend Rob Betts, he did sailboats. So did my friend Brett Packus, who went to New Trier, who went to the military academy. He had a boat, and it was at the Chicago Yacht Club, and he used to sleep on the boat. So here's the Chicago Yacht Club. It's behind the trees, but let's see if I can get a better view. Kinda. You can kind of see it right there. The Chicago Yacht Club. And it says, welcome sailors. But do you know what it can do? Chicago Yacht Club can offer all kinds of educational courses to boaters, learning how to sail different size boats. My friend Matt Hammond was teaching me how to do sailboats on Lake Eleanor. He took me out on a sailboat and he was teaching me how sailboats work, how to move with it and change with the wind and everything. So you can get on the small trainer sailboat. Now, this is only a 2-man boat and it's very small, but you can take it out onto the lake, and it teaches you. You stay in the playpen inside the break wall, and you do training classes on this small sailboat. And yes, you put up the mast, you take it down, and then you change the direction. You have to move from one side to the other side to change it with the wind to keep the sailboat going. But they can do something with the Chicago Park District. Truly, the Chicago Yacht Club can do things with the Chicago Park District and have a young sailor program. And then this can go in coordination with the U.S. Navy. Now, the U.S. Navy doesn't run sailboats, but you learn all about boats and wind direction and everything. And understanding that makes you better when you're a captain of a boat, because you understand how the wind affects things on the water. So it makes you a better captain, truly. So you can have the young sailboat program, and then they can teach advanced sailboats, and then they can teach competition racing. The Chicago Yacht Club can teach competition racing. So for beginners in competition racing, and they can have tournaments themselves right outside within the break wall, the Chicago Yacht Club, for juniors, intermediates, and seniors. And then they can have different rankings, and they'd have little tournaments right out there inside the break wall. It's a small area, and you would go around in this circle, but you would be competing. It's like the mini America's Cup. So, again, obviously they're a big supporter of the America's Cup because that's sailboats. So you can start this young program, and you can start with the Chicago Park District and the U.S. Navy sponsoring the sailor program. So young sailors and so on, and then they can teach advanced everything, advanced voting and that. You don't have to be a member. These are to bring in fees from providing educational and other services to enhance the yacht club for the members. And the members, you know, you have to be sophisticated, have to have some level of sailing ability to be a member, right? So besides the boat, you have to have the boat, you have to have some education with sailing. The whole point is that everybody here is a sailor. So They can teach all kinds of educational courses on boats, boat maintenance, and everything else. But like I said, they can have a thing with the Chicago Park District, and they can do all kinds of racing and just casual sailing and so on and so forth. And like I said, with the Chicago Park District, the U.S. Navy, and then they can have an affiliation with the University Club. So, again, it would make sense, and it's a beautiful thing. I came down for events, and I used to hang out at the Chicago Yacht Club. I wasn't a member, but my friend, his friend was a member. It was Mike Weiser and Tobler and that. They had friends that were members from the exchange that were members of the Chicago Yacht Club. And so we used to come down here and hang out. So anyways, they can do all these programs, and I'll leave it here, but again, it can be great. And so they can do it with the summer camps that are coming up or in mix with, the Chicago Park District, so all kids can get experience learning how to sail.